Welcome to the Unscripted Authentic Leadership Podcast. A podcast we are seeking to lead change while also seeking to understand. We are also here as a platform for leaders to come together, to unite, to develop and empower other leaders in the areas of business, family, faith, and community. I'm your host, Lafayette Lane, joined by my co-host, John LeBrun, and today we are joined by our special guest, Vamsi Polimetla. You already know what time it is. Make our special guest feel right at home. Put those hands together, put those clap emojis in the comments section. Today, Vamsi has joined us to have a conversation about understanding your value. Vamsi is a founder and he's also CEO of Make More Leaders. He is also a high performance and mindset coach. And today he has joined us right here on Unscripted Authentic Leadership Podcast. Let's get right into the conversation, Vamsi. Again, thank you for coming on, sir, as we have this pertinent conversation, this necessary conversation about understanding your value. Let's get to know you a little bit more, Vamsi. Tell us a little bit more about what you do, who you are, where you're from, where you're currently at. Just let our audience get to know you a little bit better before we get right into the throes of the topic.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lafayette and John, for having me here. I'm super excited for this opportunity. Little background about me. I'm originally from India. Been living in States for almost like 17 years now. Before coming here, I was in Singapore for a couple of years. I was into IT industry, spent 23 years of my life in the corporate career. And 3 years ago, I decided I wanted to do something more meaningful. And I thought, what exactly that meaningful thing for me is helping more people to step into leadership role. So I started an organization called Make More Leaders, and this is my journey. It's been, I think, like maybe the best 3 years in my life.
Yeah, so you were in corporate America for 23 years, and then you decided just 2 years ago that you wanted to do something different that was adding more value and more meaningful. What was that light bulb, or what was that shift moment that you said, okay, I'm going to leave this corporate world behind and do the passion that's in my heart? What was that point? How did that come about?
Absolutely. So just wanted to share little context, like where it started. So this did not start like 3 years ago. This started almost like maybe 11 years ago. So I was into technology side, just like you guys. I'm into IT, always like programming, solving problems behind the scenes. Was a developer, then a lead, then an architect, doing the stuff in the IT side. Suddenly, I got an opportunity to step into management position, and I thought like, wow, this is super good. And immediately I accepted for that challenge, and it was going pretty good. In the first month, I had to present who am I and what I'm going to be doing for this organization in front of my team. So I prepared all night to give that like maybe 30-minute speech to my team. The next day I went to work and I noticed that it's not just my team, there are 150 people in the room. The moment I saw 150 people, I completely forgot my name. It was a disaster. I bombed on the stage. I could not deliver what I prepared, and I know I'm going to die on the stage. But I did not die. I came home with a lot of like maybe feeling. I felt like I'm a complete failure. I felt really bad that night. My wife looked at my eyes and asked me, I never saw you that depressed. What happened to you? And I told her, I think I took a position where I need to deliver something, but I'm not in a position to deliver those things. And she said that if you are not enjoying that, maybe you can go back and do your technology stuff. Oh, that was a great idea. And the next day, my intention was, John and Lafayette, is go back to work and talk to my manager and say, hey, thank you for this management opportunity. Looks like this is not my cup of tea. I wanted to go back and do my problem solving things. So I went to the office and knocked the door. Very first thing I heard from the manager was, Vamsi, you did pretty well yesterday. That completely blew my mind. I was about to tell him I would have done something better than that. And he said that You are just getting started. You're going to get more opportunities down the road. I was again like trying to explain something. He said that this topic is over. Go back to work. I stepped out from that room and I stayed in a silence for a few minutes, and I wrote down in my journal, somebody believed in me more than I believed in myself. I do not want to let this person down for any reason. So I started giving my best. I started going to Toastmasters. I started investing into my personal development. I started like putting pretty much like whatever I'm making after paying my bills into my personal growth. Started attending events like a Tony Robbins, uh, going to Robin Sharma, Brendan Bouchard, you just name it, like all the personal development events, and actively participating, not just like a consuming the information, but already integrating that into my personal life as well as people around me. So that is where it started. It started like to answer your question, Lafade, like it did not start like 3 years ago. It started 11 years ago when I was in that position. And every time I invest like $10 into my personal growth, I'm getting back more into my life. I thought like, yeah, this is working out good. I'm feeling good. I'm seeing the results. I'm influencing people. So that is how I started.
So you had a moment, and I feel like as a preacher, I would say it this way: you felt like you were going down in flames once you saw that there was, I think you said 150 people there. This is the end of me, or a lot of people say you felt like you had bombed, that life was over for you. I'm ready to go tell my boss I'm done, I'm over with, only to find out that the moment that you thought was your biggest failure was actually your launching pad into something that was bigger than you even thought that you had within yourself. And a lot of people need people in their life to tell them, hey, I know you thought you went home depressed, literally. I know you thought that it was over. I know you thought that you went down in flames, but you actually did better, and you actually have something on the inside of you that was unlocked because you had a face of fear that you never would have done if you already knew there was 150 people there. I'm sure you probably would have never even showed up. But because you had to step into it and to do it while you were in the midst of your fear, it launched you into greater.
Absolutely.
Would you agree with that? Yeah.
100%, 100%. That was like a turning point in my life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you're saying that from that moment, you went into investing in yourself. How important is that? Because we live in a culture that everyone wants people to invest in them, but they won't even invest in themselves. Right.
Exactly.
So on social media, everyone wants people, hey, follow me, invest in me. I have something great to offer. But when we look at you, all your money is spent on everything else, on your feet, your Jordans, your shoes, your Gucci, your Louis Vuitton, your clothing, but nothing is invested in the internal gifts and the passion that you say that you have. You said that all the money that you had after you were done paying your bills went into investing in yourself because you understood the value of what you had on the inside. Speak to that, because we need that so badly in the culture that we live in, that everyone is looking for an external validation, but nobody will validate themselves with a personal investment. How important is that, understanding your value to the point that you say, I'm not looking for other investors to invest in me, I'll invest in myself?
100%, 100%. I just wanted to like give some kind of like a background. I always teach this to my students. There are like three types of people. For example, let's take like maybe IT as an example. You get $20,000 as a bonus, okay, because you did pretty good job. So type one, the person takes $20,000 and buy all the shiny things. For example, maybe buy like maybe the nice home theater, or buys like something like maybe fancy, a car or something. Not many people in that range, because like everybody's like thinking that I wanted to invest my money, time somewhere maybe going to get me more return. So the type two is they take that money and invest into things like real estate, things like a cryptocurrency, things like stock market. right? And what is happening with this type 2 Lafade is their happiness is attached to something that they don't have control on. If the stock market is going up, they're going to be feeling so happy. Oh, my investment's going up. If the stock market is going down because of some political or economical things, they are going to feel dull. The third type of person who always takes that money and first see how can I upgrade my knowledge? How can I buy the best books? How can I go to the programs where I can learn faster? So every time we have these three options, we need to choose one of those where we are investing in. I'm not asking you to like empty your bank account and invest into like a personal growth. Take maybe 10% of whatever that may be savings that you have and invest into your growth. We always hear this, like maybe when you board the airplane, very first thing what they say, in case of emergency, oxygen masks will come down. You need to put yourself first before serving passenger next to you. Maybe the person who is 70, 80, 90 years old, before you help them, help yourself first, right? The same fundamental thing. We do that many things for our kids, we do many things for our parents, we do many things for our neighbors. In terms of like maybe our personal growth, we always say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next year, I'll do it like maybe when I get that promotion. This is almost like we hear this every single time. I just like maybe make joke out of it. Sometimes people say that I wanted to go to gym after getting my 6-pack abs. Is this going to happen? No. Go to gym now, then you get the 6-pack abs in 6 months.
Right.
That's exactly the thing is.
I guarantee you that will be a clip. I just saw a quote, and it showed somebody. It basically said exactly what you said, but it said some people will spend money on things to make people think that they are wealthy. Others spend money on things to actually become wealthy. And you broke it down into a third step, which is basically saying when you invest it into yourself, you're increasing your self-image and your knowledge, which will definitely return your investment. If you invest it strictly into stocks, properties that you don't always have control with, now your self-image is tied to that investment. Therefore, as it dips, you dip, right? And you have no way of climbing out of that hole because you took no time to invest in yourself. I know that you invest in yourself. I hope you don't mind me sharing. I remember having a conversation with you off to the side, and we were talking about investing into self, and you were telling me I was trying to offer something, and you nicely told me I was offering it for too cheap. And you said, John, the way you're offering it is basically telling somebody that you're going to give $25 of value. Do you feel like you're giving $25 of value? I'm like, well, yeah, it's going to be way more than that. You said, exactly. So if somebody shows up for that, they're going to expect $25 of value. You said, I personally have invested over $30,000 in my personal development, and I've gotten full returns, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, wow. I went home to my wife, or I was talking to my wife after the conversation. Like, well, I just met somebody amazing. He was telling me he invested over 30 grand in his personal development. And she looked at me and she goes, how much do you think you've invested in your personal development? I'm like, so I started calculating. I'm telling you what, it was pretty much, it was over $30,000. You just don't think about it because it's been over years, not in 1 year, but over time, right? With books, seminars, audio, MP3s, everything you can get your hands on, coaches, all those things. And so I know you live this. And but that 5 or 10 minute conversation that we had, and you explained to me about the value that I bring, completely upgraded and blessed the way I think about things from 10 minutes. So I never even gave you a thank you for that, but I appreciate it.
Sure.
Anyways, Lafayette, go ahead. I know you got a good question.
Oh, no, you're good. On your areas of expertise, we're talking about value your mindset coach. I saw something that said 10 plus mindset. What is that?
So I think like everything, we all have a supercomputer sitting in between two ears, right? Most of the times we don't use any of like maybe the computer capabilities. We are just like maybe using a fraction of what it can do. So part of this program, like I help a lot of people from IT industry and also a lot of business and entrepreneurs. I always challenge them. What else is possible? What else that you are leaving on the table that you are not taking home? For example, when you go and meet somebody in the IT industry and they say, I have 15 years experience on cybersecurity. I have 20 years experience in project management. If you just dig deep, they all have 1 year experience and they repeated that 15 times. They repeated that 20 times. They're not upgrading themselves. That is the reason that they are getting exactly like maybe if you look at their bank balance, it is reflection of how committed they are. If you look at their like maybe the health records, it's a reflection of how committed they are towards their health, towards their like maybe the finances, right? So this is again like going back to the mindset. Once you start like maybe thinking big, once you start like maybe thinking beyond like maybe what is going on in your life, there are like many things that is possible.
You said, hold on. Vamsi, you literally, I'm rarely left speechless. I like talking to you. I'm just gonna say this. You are brilliant.
You're being stretched.
Yes, you said that it's not that somebody has 10 years experience. They have 1 year experience. They just done it 10 times. What, like, how did you get to that place of thinking? Because that's a whole different mindset. How did you get to that place to start to shift your mindset to think that way?
Absolutely. Many people, they're just like a playing small. Part of my journey, like I help like maybe more than 100 people stepping up and doing like maybe the things that never thought, never imagined before. So one example, one guy who came from the similar background like me from India, and he moved 10,000 miles away from his hometown, never know what this like maybe the land looks like, never know what the culture is. And the person took like a big risk. But after coming here, after landing here, he's doing really good in terms of like maybe in the current circumstances. He became a manager, making like maybe a couple of $100,000 a year, sitting there. When I asked him what else is possible, he said like, I don't think I can do anything more than this. So this might be the same answer for many of your listeners as well. When they are listening to this, they're thinking, I'm already doing all my best. The answer is that really true? Are you giving your best? For example, let's take like maybe orange as a simple analogy here. You get an orange every single day. Okay. And you're just like maybe cutting that orange into two pieces, and you're looking at orange, and end of the day, you're just like throwing that orange into the trash can. One day you did okay, second day you did, the third day you may feel that I'm wasting these oranges, right? Maybe if you're a kid, if your mom or dad looks at that and they say, hey, you're wasting these oranges. But we're doing the same thing in our life as well. Every day God is giving us an orange. Are we squeezing that orange? Are we taking the juice out of the orange? Or are we just putting that into the trash can? The moment we ask that question, the moment like maybe we start seeing that our life as an orange, we start squeezing that, I think we all can create something maybe 10 times better than what we are creating now. That is what like a 10 plus means. That is what like maybe 10x means. So we can definitely add a zero to no matter where you are. I coached like many people who are like a doctors. I never been a doctor. I never got like maybe great university education, but I know something that they can work on and they can improve on. They can add zero to their maybe the paycheck if they can start squeezing that orange every single day.
So you said that you've never got a university education, so you don't have a college degree.
I do have a college degree, but never like maybe the fancy college degree.
So what you're saying is that people don't need that in order to be successful. Because a lot of people will say, if you don't go to college, if you don't go to a certain institution, if you don't have these certain credentials, you cannot be successful. But you're saying it really starts and ends with a mindset.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. All these degrees like
Vamsi, I think you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sorry about that. I don't know why.
It's okay. We can fix it. Can you start over when he was talking about the degree, though? As soon as you start talking about the degrees, when we got cut.
We cut out, yeah.
Okay. So all these university certificates will help you to become a great employee. But if you really wanted to be happy, I think like we all seek something, which is maybe for me, it is freedom. I wanted to be living on my own terms. I wanted to be doing like what I'm really passionate about doing. So college degrees may not help you to do that one. So that's my, I think like maybe my belief system. And I've been noticing that many people who are getting like maybe really good college degrees education, they're working for someone. Some people who never been to college, we saw like all these people from Bill Gates all the way till like maybe Elon Musk, they never had like maybe that great education, but they have something passion. They have something about like maybe their mindset. So they achieved like many things that many people could not achieve.
Part of that has to be because, as you just called it, the university, they call it that great, quote unquote, can't see me, air quotes, great education. I went to college. I have no clue where my degree is. I never put it in a frame. It's probably in a box. It might be in the trash. I actually have no clue. My best education was when I was in college. Somebody gave me a book. It was a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
There you go.
And I had never read a self-help book before. I never actually, so I went through college and never read any of my textbooks. It was a goal. I achieved it. Never read one. Ask my wife. She saw them in the cellophane 5 years later. When I tried to sell them, I threw them away. It's true. And so maybe I opened a math book once. I never read any textbooks. But somebody gave me this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And I don't remember everything in the book, but what it did is I remember reading this book and thinking, why hasn't anybody told me this information before? Like, this book costs $15 or whatever it is. And I stayed up till 3 a.m., tired, couldn't put the book down because every page had information that I'd never heard before. And everything was so applicable to life, like everything. And it was a little book. I never read books as growing up as a kid, didn't like them, didn't see why anybody would want to read. And then starting that day as a almost 21-year-old person, that was the day of my self-help journey. And then, so you take college education. I'm kind of down on it because how much it costs is investment for what somebody really gets out of it. And then you take personal responsibility for your own education and personal development. You can even educate yourself in industry specific things through real experts who have been through the industry, and you can get that information for pennies practically. That is what I think is a great education. That is, in my mind, the big difference maker. That's how you know who moves up, even if someone loves the corporate environment. The person who moves up is reading, they're growing themselves. It's what you do after that degree that really makes a difference, or in lieu of the degree. I don't even care if somebody has it, but yeah, you said it, that great education, but obviously we know you have an amazing education because we hear it out of every other sentence that you give us and bless us with on this show. And so it really speaks to everybody understanding, where are you getting your education from and why are you getting it from that source? And I think we really need to take a deep look at how we're educating ourselves and why some of us are just following an education path brainlessly that we were told to get. I did it too. I went through 4.5 years, almost 5 years of college. So I did it. My wife did it. So I get it, why we do it. But I don't get why we keep doing it.
Right. Yeah. So this is something that I shared with my executive clients. And if you're reading a book, for example, you're reading Elon Musk's biography, or maybe you're reading Richard Branson's journey, right? So while you're reading that book, you're pretty much having a conversation with them. When somebody put that book, they put their entire life's work into that book. It's not just like a $20 that you paid. If you really wanted to get 2,000 times of the value of what you paid, you just like maybe read maybe 3 pages, take your journal and write down what exactly you got it from those 3 pages, and ask these three questions. Where can I apply this? How can I implement this in my personal life as well as in my professional life? And who all are the people I can teach this information to? If you start asking those questions, I think you're going to be retaining that information for a long time. And also, the moment you put those questions in place and write answers, when you go to the next time, when you go for a conference, or maybe when you present at your work, you can just like share, hey, this is how Elon Musk implemented this particular strategy. And pretty much everybody in your work going to look up to you as a genuine authority. You know what this guy knows what he's talking about, because he just did not read the book. He completely like dig deep into that book and came up with these strategies, right? So that is how like maybe you need to be thinking it. And part of this journey, a lot of my executive clients and the leadership people that I coach, they ask me, Vamsi, this is so great. We all know this, like a best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. How about you help my kids to get into that leadership journey? They asked me like several times. 1 year ago, I took that seriously. I think there is something like maybe calling inside. Maybe God or maybe universe is trying to send me a message. How about I start helping kids as well? So I created a program along with one of my partner, Brendan, to help kids to install these leadership principles early in the game. So what we are doing is we are giving this all the gifts that I learned over the last like maybe 11 years and simplifying that and giving that to kids early in the game. Some of the kids that joined the program, they are like 6 years old. Some of them are like just getting into the high school. Doesn't matter. The leadership is leadership, right? The best time to plant is now versus like maybe once they become like so big. So we're taking this to the next level.
So, is that your FAST program, the acronym, the FAST? Is that what you're speaking about?
The FAST program is also for executives and leaders. This is the kids leadership program. There is no name, just I'm calling it kids leadership.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
How does somebody access this kids leadership program?
The best way to reach out is just reach out to me on one of the platforms, LinkedIn or Facebook. I'm available on WhatsApp. My phone number, maybe I can send you that, John. You can put on the show notes.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you want it
Again,
out
I'm,
there.
I'm not too fancy about me running big funnels or
Yeah, yeah.
running 10 different websites. I'm very simple guy, uh, living a simple life,
No,
helping people to simplify their life.
you're not living a simple life. You're living an impactful life. I promise you.
Sure.
On your website, you said everything that you're looking for is outside your comfort zone.
Mm.
Hmm.
Act before you're ready. Don't
Hmm.
wait.
Yep.
Unpack
Yep.
that statement for us.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So this is again like going back to my journey. About 23 years ago, 24 years ago, when I started my first corporate career back in India, I was working for a small software company in India. I was making about $30 a month. Very happy, very young, uh, really passionate about what I was doing. I came to know there are more opportunities outside of India. And first time I realized, I think like maybe I can do this. I did not have college degree at that point. So I stepped out from my comfort zone. I went to a country I never been before. That was my first time, not only stepping out from my country at the time in India, stepping out from my own state. I never been outside of that state as well. So I stepped out and got on a plane with one of my friend, landed in Singapore because I know what I was doing pretty well. I'm very confident about like maybe communicating that to the world. I got a job. This time, my salary was $3,000. If you look the numbers, the difference between the first and second, it's 100x. It just happened because I stepped outside of the comfort zone. And it happened several times after that. That is also like part of one of my program. I help people to step out from that comfort zone. The moment you step out from that comfort zone, anything is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Everything what we are looking for, the best car, the best house, maybe the best partner, they already available there. Only thing is we are not choosing. We are choosing to play smaller things. We are choosing to settle for whatever is like maybe convenient for us. The moment you step out from that zone, the moment you choose that this is what I want, the moment you start demanding more from yourself than anyone else demand from you, anything is possible. I wanted to repeat this again. The moment you demand more from yourself than anyone else demanding from you, anything is possible.
You are huge on value. One of the most valuable possessions that we have is time. You made a post on Instagram and you said this: we can't manage time.
Mm.
We can only manage our relationship with the time we have. Can you please break that down?
100%, 100%. So lot of times people think about money is something maybe is like maybe I can make infinite things, but always like think about it. The time is something limited. Money, you can make as much money as you want. You cannot make more time. So what you can do instead is use your time towards your advantage. For example, when you're having a conversation with your partner, when you're having a conversation with your kid, when you're having a conversation with your boss, take your energy towards that. Ask yourself before getting into the conversation, what is my energy level right now? If your energy level is anywhere below, like on scale of like 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, if below 8 or 7, you ask yourself, how can I bring my level to 9 or 10? So within the same time, the conversation is going to be much more impactable, right? So this is I think like maybe you need to be keeping in your mind. It's not about the time. It's all about like how much energy that you're bringing into the conversation. For example, if I come to this conversation like maybe my shoulders are down, I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, guys, two guys from Ohio. I'm from Pittsburgh. Hey, what's up, guys? That's not. It's going to be right. The time what we are going to be using even for your listeners. If I'm not bringing my best energy, I'm not doing a service. Like I'm pretty much like maybe wasting your time. So you can start doing that. You can bring more energy towards the time. You can also eliminate that less is always more. Most of the times we think I need to do 10 things. No, you just need to do like maybe one thing.
Mhm.
So identify what is that one thing going to move needle towards your like maybe the thing that you are working on. Maybe you might have 10 meetings. Identify what is one meeting you have today is going to make a big difference in your like maybe long term view. So give your best to that meeting, so that way all other meetings are unnecessary for you.
Yeah. John, go ahead, bro.
I was just writing down everything you just said. Less is more. And on that less, give more, essentially. Does that sound about right?
Yep.
I had heard a quote. It was talking, or I don't know if you want to call it a quote. It's more of something called time energy. It was basically about understanding the energy you put towards everything, and not just that, but also what is put towards you. So when you have somebody who is just emotionally draining in your life, right? What kind of time energy does that waste for you, and how do you handle that? When you are spending time and emotions on something for a period of time energy, like how much is that draining on you? How do you let that go? That kind of thing. One of the biggest things you've done for me just in a short conversation was understanding was for me to understand the perspective of the value that I can bring to somebody else, not just monetarily, but just understanding that we probably have more value than we believe. Can you speak a little bit to how can somebody truly start to begin to understand their self-worth and how they can help others? What do they need to do to better their, not just become better, which we've talked about that, and investing in yourself, but how do they start to understand the value that they can provide? I think a lot of people don't ever take a step forward because they say, who am I? Or what value am I really going to bring? Or because they see value as basketball or singing or things like that, like traits, physical traits that some people were gifted beyond belief. Therefore, they think they have no gifts. So how does somebody understand the value they can truly bring and why they would have that value? Because so many people think they don't have any.
Absolutely. I think I just wanted to give like maybe long answer to this one.
Perfect.
You need to first identify what you're really passionate about. So it doesn't have to be the degree or maybe the profession that what you are in right now. It can be anything. One example, John, you're talking about like my investment into personal growth in the last like maybe 10 years. Just wanted to clarify here. I spent like more than $300,000 on my personal growth. So
you win. You definitely win.
right. So part of this journey, I had an opportunity to interact and spend time with like A players, like maybe like a 1% of the world in this journey. And I met like one girl. She's like maybe 20, 21 years old, and she never been to college. She never been to any of like maybe good schools as well. But she's really passionate about spending time with dogs. So she started her dog walking business. And you know how much she's making? She's making multiple six figures.
Oh my goodness.
Dog walking.
Wow.
All the celebrities in Beverly Hills would like their dog walk with this girl.
Wow.
So she did not do research. She did not get PhD. She did not do anything. Only thing is she's passionate about what she's doing. And she really like maybe spent time on that one thing. Many people that we see, they go and do 12 things in a row. So they can go 1 inch in 12 different directions. This is what like the world is going through. 1 inch in 12 different directions. But 1% people, they go 12 inches in one direction. So the first step for you, what is that one thing that you wanted to go that deep? Identify that one. This could be maybe something like a dog walking. I'm not saying you quit your job and become a dog walker, just giving an example. For me, that was like personal growth. That was like maybe helping other people to step into that leadership level. For some other people, maybe project management. I really wanted to be good at this one. Some of them, maybe it's like maybe a cyber security. I wanted to be the best in cyber security. In that case, just like a leave everything alone. Just identify that one. So always like a less is more. Pick that one thing and give your best. Go deep into that. Maybe give yourself 1 year and see you become like maybe the best in the world. And after that, I think like people will start valuing. Very first thing like we all need to do, we need to value ourselves. The moment you look in the mirror and look at like maybe what you're seeing in the mirror, always tell that person you're more valuable. Most of the time, we don't value ourselves. We think like maybe whatever like maybe we are getting right now from our job or like maybe our business, that is exactly our worth. No. You always need to value. I'm becoming more valuable every single day. I think like this is a quote from one of my mentor, Robin Sharma. He always says that every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. Better and better at like maybe who I'm becoming, better and better at like maybe what I'm doing. Right. So that is how like maybe we need to be seeing. We all can increase the value no matter what it is, what we are doing. Make sense?
Yes. I think there's a lot to say about people getting their self-worth by putting that investment into themselves. When I started reading for me, not for anybody else, for me, my self-image went up. That was it.
100%. Yeah. It is all about like the competition. It's not with your neighbor, not with your colleague, not with your manager. Competition with yourself every single day. Am I becoming better than who am I? Who I was yesterday? Who I was like maybe 1 year ago? If you are not improving like maybe in terms of like who you are like 1 year ago, definitely you are doing a disservice. I think you always need to look back, reflect back, and general back and see where I was 12 months ago, where I am now, and what are the improvements that I had. It's not just about your balances on your bank. It's not about your career. Ask about like as a father, as a maybe the responsible holder, how I'm improving in terms of my health, in terms of my relationship. Who am I becoming in this journey? I think that is more important than what I'm collecting, like all the shiny things. Did I get like a new car, new basement, new music system? Those are like secondary. Those are the fun things. But who you are becoming is, I think, like maybe the most important thing.
In a world where we want to put everything on Instagram and that identifies us, people should understand it's the time that nobody sees. It's the effort that you put in late night or early morning, whatever your time is, in reading and listening and growing. That's what makes you better. That's what increases your self-esteem, your self-image, and your self-worth. Nobody knows it. Nobody's ever going to see it. It's the time you spent pouring into your kids with, positive affirmations, your personal positive affirmations, those things that really, the behind the scenes stuff, as you just alluded to, not into the cars, the shoes, the bags, so forth. Incredible.
Absolutely.
Vamsi, leave our audience one last word.
Act before you're ready. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to maybe ready for the prime time. Start now. Whatever that you wanted to be doing, whether you wanted to start your own side business, whether you wanted to write your own book, whether you wanted to be doing whatever that you wanted to do it, start now. Again, remember this. You don't want to be the best author in the world. Nobody knows the best authors. Always remember this. You wanted to be the best-selling author. Communicate what you're doing to the world. Only people knows the best-selling authors. So become that best-selling author. Start now. Everything what you're looking is outside of your comfort zone. The moment you step out, you're going to see many, many possibilities. Again, remember this. Once you climb the mountain, you'll get to know there are many more mountains to climb. If you're staying on the ground, you don't see anything. Your first step, climb that first mountain and see what else is possible.
Connect with Vamsi on LinkedIn. His profile is Vamsi Polimetla. Also, his Instagram handle is at Polimetla, Polimetla on Instagram. That is his Instagram handle. And also, you can connect with Vamsi on Facebook at Vamsi Polimetla. This has been another incredible conversation. Thank you to our special guests, all of you that are part of our unscripted audience. Stay connected to what we have going on here. You can follow us on our various social media platforms on Facebook, Unscripted Authentic Leadership Podcast, Twitter at Unscripted Lead, Instagram at Unscripted Leadership. Our LinkedIn is Unscripted Authentic Leadership Podcast. Those of you that are part of the podcast listening community, you can find us on any streaming platform from Apple to Spotify, Google Podcasts, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, wherever you stream your podcast. Also, if you're looking for a place to be poured into and to pour out onto other leaders, a place of connections, networking, peer-to-peer, intimate group settings, you can find that on unscripted-leadership.com, where you can sign up for a mastermind group. While you're there, if you're looking to stay in tune, stay connected to what we have going on, sign up for our unscripted email group. Once you do that, you will receive a 10% off merch promo code there, available on unscripted-leadership.com. As always, we pray that you be the leader that God has called you to be. We're here to build bridges and not walls. Bridges connect and walls divide. Until next time, God bless you.